before we get too far in, I have a question for you. We're going to start off today with a question. Here's my question for you. Just think about for your life, how long would it take? How many years would it take for you, based on your current practice, not what you aspire to, not when you win the lottery next year, but how long would it take you today to give away $1 million? Okay? Some of you are like, people don't live that long. Okay? How long would it take you to be able to give away $1 million? Now, I can tell you as a church, it's taken us 16 years. In the last 16 years, we've given away $1 million. That's awesome, right? 16 years. And if you work for a government agency or a nonprofit, you might hear this phrase and they'll say like goods and services, right? Not in goods and services. In goods and services, it'd be like buco more. That's a technical term. Buco more, right? It'd be a ton more. But in actual cash, we've given away over $1 million in the last 16 years, which is awesome. And you may not know this about our church, right? When you came in, if you're in the room, probably sitting on a chair somewhere around you, there's a little piece of paper that looks kind of like this. If you're joining us online, if you're joining us at live.mymcc.cc, Tana's going to put a link right in the chat box, and you can go and you can see the same thing we're looking at in the room. We as a church have committed for decades, for a really long time, to giving away at least 10% of all the money that comes into this church in tithes and offerings. Now, some years it's been a higher percentage than that, but it's always been 10%. In fact, this history of generosity, we have a value statement that we have on the wall that says that we will lead the way with irrational generosity. And this isn't just something we've started to do in the last couple years. This church actually was the first church in the Northwest to have a women's mission society. And the whole purpose of the Women's Mission Society was to help leverage above and beyond what churches were already doing to give money away. It was a group of women who thought they could do more and they could be more generous. And so they created their own group over 100 years ago to collect money, to do fundraisers so that they could give money away. This has been a part of our legacy, and it's awesome. It's awesome. You'll see on the list, this is what we're committed to the next year, right? There's 8 individuals and 2 organizations, and then at the end, it just says annual initiatives, and it's a bunch of things that happen all over the place. And $55,000 is what we're expecting to give away next year, which is awesome, but there's a little bit of a tension. The tension is that the amount we give away is directly tied to the amount of money that comes in. So every time you give $1, we give away 10 cents. Right? Every time you give $100, we give away $10. It's directly tied. And because this place, this church, these people are a people who have desired to be generous. We've had this conversation with quite a few people, and they've said, like, genuinely, like I have this money, I have this opportunity, I have this resource, I've been gifted something. I want to see more given away. Right? I want the needs of the church to be taken care of, but I want to see this money go to more and more kingdom expanding things. The tension is that with our current practice is that we only have one system for giving money away, and that's coming in through generous giving, through general fund, and then we give away 10%. So this year, we're going to start a new initiative. We're going to start a new process of how we manage giving money away, and it might be an absolute train wreck, and if it does, we'll all go, well, that was a good experiment, and we tried. But I think this has the potential to really unleash, to really be able to do some awesome things. And here's what it's going to look like, is that beginning this year, we're going to start doing a Christmas offering. Okay? Now, when we do a Christmas offering, 100%, not 10%, not a dime on every dollar, 100% of the money that comes into Christmas offering is going to go to funding generous giving. We want to do this so that, here's what we want to do. We want to do this so that the money we give away is untethered from our generous fund, right? And here's a commitment. Hear me really clearly on this, okay? Hear me really clearly on this. We will give away at least 10%. Okay? If this is a miserable failure and a total bomb and like $17.32 comes in, we will still give away 10%. right? We are committed to that. But what we want to do is we want to create a pathway so that for those of you who it's on your heart, and for those of you who have resources and you want to be able to give more and more money away, that we have a system, that we have a pathway to untether the money we give away from the money that has to come in, right? So we're going to start this Christmas. We're going to start a Christmas offering. So Christmas Eve at our services, and if you give online, soon you'll be able to have an option where you'll be able to give towards Christmas offering. 100% of that money will be given away. Our goal is to exceed the $55,000. Our goal, I mean, how awesome would it be for in years to come, not too far off, for us to be giving away 20, 30, 35% of the money that comes in because of your generosity. So my ask would be for you to pray about it, to think about it, about what place God's going to have you in this for this end of year giving campaign. And like I said, all of it, 100% will be given away to one of our initiative partners. One last other practical thing that I have to say, okay? Here's what you can't do, okay? Well, you can do whatever you want. You're grown adults, you live in America, you can do whatever you want, right? What we would ask you not to do, okay, is just to take what you are going to give, okay? Like you're gonna give in December, you got an amount, maybe your family gives $100, $150, whatever you give, right? And you decide, well, we'd really like that to go to generous giving, so we're just gonna take this that we were gonna give in December and we're gonna put it in the Christmas Eve offering. Here's the just real practical, like let's just talk real quick. If all that happens, then we don't pay the light bill. And a candlelight service is awesome on Christmas Eve. It's really awkward in March, okay? Coming back January and having to lay off half the staff is unpleasant, right? Okay? So all we're gonna ask is whatever you were planning on giving in December, to give that, and that this, right, this comes from a different pocket. You see, right? You've got the money. Whatever you commit to give, whatever you're disciplined in giving, to give that. And then if you're going to give to the Christmas offering, our ask is just this, is just to give from a different pocket, right? A different place in your budget. That's just practical, grown-up, honest talk we have to have, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing.